What is up, everybody? Moray here, CEO and founder of Major Revolution Financial Group. Today, I get on here and I want to congratulate every single one of you for one of the biggest partnerships that Major Revolution Financial Group has ever secured. Today, we officialize our premier carrier partnership with a company called Senior Life Insurance Company. Why this is remarkable is today marks a historic moment for not just MRFG, but the industry collectively, because prior to today, from what I've been told and what I saw in research, not a single IMO has secured a deal with Senior Life Insurance Company due to the fact that Senior Life Insurance Company by nature is captive. Therefore, we are going to be able to have the opportunity to solicit their products, enjoy the benefits that they provide, the insanely aggressive compensation plan they offer, and everything else in between. So today's video, I'm going to be going over what Senior Life is, our new premier carrier partnership, the no replacement policy that goes along with this partnership, a temporary agent resources center, and what FEX Life is, the most common issues and how to resolve these issues when we officially merge you with the carrier, I should say, get you a agent number and officially contract you with Senior Life. The products, comps, renewals, explained for personal producers as well as leaders. So today I'm going to go over everything from A to Z to get everybody caught up to speed, answer any questions, curiosities that you may have had in mind, or any common issues that people have been experiencing just in the beginning stages while we conclude the merger. So, first things first, what is Senior Life Insurance Company? As mentioned before, they're typically a captive company. They are amongst the most aggressive captive companies in America. We have the opportunity to remain a brokerage, solicit other carriers and other products, while having, again, the opportunity to partner with Senior Life Insurance Company. This has, again, never been done before. We are the first IMO to officially partner with them. They have rejected many IMOs in the past, and this isn't just a one and done, one day type of deal. I have been flying in and out over the last year and a half, renegotiating. Deal was on the table, deal was off the table. So I'm just excited to announce that it officially happened and it officially took place. So if you see this video, you are either contracted or in the process of being contracted with Senior Life Insurance Company. So first things first, I want to reverse engineer this and start with the most important things for the people that are ready to rip and rock and get out there and sell. The most common issues you're going to experience when contracting with Senior Life Insurance Companies, with Senior Life Insurance Company, is you will receive an agent number from Senior Life Insurance Company. So when you do your contracting, you got to wait, just like any other carrier. Then you receive an agent number. When you receive this agent number in your email and you attempt to log back in, it is not going to be the same credentials you used to create your contracting agent profile account. So if you made an agent, which you should have, you made an agent profile account, you started your contracting, whatever credentials you use are no longer applicable. Once you get your agent number from Senior Life Insurance Company by email, you will now use your agent number and the last four of your social to log in. If for whatever reason that does not work, which has happened in some instances, you reach out to hr@ffl-ol.com, copy me, Emery Shuney at ffl-ol.com, and we'll resolve it. Usually we resolve it within 24 to 48 hours, sometimes even sooner, same day, depending on what time of day it is. Once you download Senior Life's e-app, the Slic app, you may be prompted with the following error: untrusted enterprise developer, iPhone, iPad distribution, yada, 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 yada. The reason why this has been prompted is you have to go to your settings and allow the app and trust it on your device. So what you have to do is you go to settings, you go under general, you go to VPN, you scroll down to Senior Life Insurance Company app, and you click allow. So I'm going to show you, and I'm hoping it shows on the screen. If that does not make sense, I'm going to show you how to do it from my iPhone, but you're doing this on your iPad. It's relatively the same process. Go to your settings. We haven't clicked anything yet. You guys can see this. Yep. We're going to go down to General. Click General. We scroll down to where we see VPN and device management. We're going to click that. It's going to say Senior Life Insurance Company. We're going to click that, and we're going to click Trust Senior Life Insurance Company. As soon as you click Trust, you will not have this error. It should open the e-app. You're not downloading this from the App Store. You're downloading this from the link that is sent to you. This is Senior Life proprietary software. You can only download it directly from Senior Life's website. That should be in your agent number email when you get your agent number. Second most common problem we have saw is if you have no drop-down menu for a state that you are licensed in, you will email hr@ffl-ol.com. You're going to copy me, Emre Shuni, at ffl-ol.com. We usually get this resolved same day, if not the next day. Another issue we have is part of this agreement and partnership, just like their agents and agency owners and team leaders get paid the same day in many instances, we want to get paid the same day as well. So unlike any other carrier that I know of, usually you get paid a week later, a month later, after the due day, after it drafts, after it issues, maybe on Friday, maybe a couple days later. With Senior Life Insurance Company, you can get paid the same day if you collect a live check. Well, it's part of the e-app. When you're in the e-app, you'll understand what I'm talking about. You collect a live check, you write out the premium amount. So the e-app is going to tell you, say, for an example, $114, you will only write out the check for $100. That $4 is a legacy program, which we'll touch on a little later. But again, the most important takeaway from this is you are writing out a live check with the client to ensure, one, they're protected as soon as you leave the home, two, Senior Life cashes it, and three, you get paid that same day if the business is submitted before 3 p.m. Eastern Standard. If it's submitted after 3 p.m., you will get paid the next day. In the event that you do not collect a live check with the client, Senior Life Insurance Company across the board pays agents in the event that they don't collect a live check 2 days after the draft date that you chose in the e-application. So if today's the 1st and you wrote somebody up and their due date is the 22nd, you will not get paid until the 24th. So collecting a live check ensures that family peace of mind because they're covered. It also ensures your peace of mind because you could get paid as soon as that same day if it's submitted, again, before 3 p.m. Eastern Standard, or if you submit it after 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you will get paid the next day. If you uncheck, some people don't get their full comp when they do this. If you uncheck the $4 legacy add-on in the e-application, it reduces your comp drastically, which we'll touch on again a little later. Do not uncheck the legacy. It is valuable. It is only $4, and in the event you uncheck that $4 legacy, your comp almost gets sliced in half, if not worse. So this is a standard feature. This is something that is sold hard with Senior Life. It is not a Major Revolution Financial Group policy. It's not MRFG by any means. It's Senior Life Insurance Company across the board. We'll touch on this a little later if you're confused. So the products and perks of Senior Life Insurance Company. For the first time ever, we are able to go as high as 150% for those that hit the promotional guidelines. The promotional guidelines for Senior Life Insurance Company are not the promotional guidelines for MRFG. Again, Senior Life Insurance Company has their own promotional guidelines that is for their captive agents. We have our own promotional guidelines, which you guys would adhere to. We do not follow their guidelines. They are only one company. They have smaller numbers to hit, and again, they are captive, so therefore they don't have other carriers And it's easier to hit those targets when you only have one carrier, essentially, because you're flooding all that business through them. I'm going to say this one last final time. Major Revolution Financial Group has their own promotional guidelines, which will be published soon. So do not follow their comp promotional guidelines. But comp still goes as high as 150% across the board. Senior Life, you're vested day one. We're keeping that policy in place. You get multiple income streams. You get the power of an agency if you decide to be a builder. You don't have to be a builder. You can stay a producer. I have a lot of producers within Major Revolution Financial Group who do pretty well for themselves. Some make 6 figures. And we had a handful scratch a 7-figure mark simply producing, which is pretty remarkable. So leadership is not forced upon you. We are not an MLM to where recruiting is the primary focus. We don't condone just bringing anybody in and recruiting anybody and everybody with a pulse anymore. We want clean-cut quality people to work with Major Revolution Financial Group, and we also don't force people to recruit, so you could take a producer route or a leadership route, depending on what you decide to do. So it's a very simple platform, self-final expense, strictly ages 0 to 85, which we'll touch on. If you decide to buy their leads, they have leads that call in, live transfers, comprehensive product portfolio, game-changing technology. So they don't do MIB checks, which we'll touch on a little later. You get instant decisions on the spot, whether that's an approval or they recommend a different product or they just decline them altogether. We have noticed a 97% approval rate so far. They don't do MIB checks. They just do script checks. I'm not sure what API technology they use, but unlike majority of carriers that go in and every little thing on the MIB check could be of concern, or they decline the client, or they automatically rate them, or whatever the case may be, Senior Life doesn't do that. And for the agents that have been released that we've noticed so far, there's been a 97% approval rate for the best product that they offer, which is absolutely remarkable. There's also, I touched on this and asked about this on several occasions, they do not rescind policies. If you guys are familiar with Americo, they rescind policies in the event that an application was mismarked, even if obviously it's unintentional. Maybe the client may have not remembered something health-wise. They answered the application to the best of their abilities. And this isn't to bash Americo or anything, but less than a year later, maybe 10 months later, maybe even over a year later, they rescind the policy within the 2-year contestability period. Full chargeback, client's mad. We are not going to deal with that debacle with Senior Life. Historically, from what I understood and from what I heard, they've never, ever rescinded a policy. It's not a common practice. It's never been practiced. They just don't do that. 2-year contestability period applies in the event that an application was mismarked. This is pretty standard policy across the industry. Within the first 2 years, again, they have day one coverage. Everything checks out okay. Everything was answered accurately and honestly, they will get paid out right away. In the event that they mismark the application within the 2-year contestability, there's a chance they won't pay out, just like any other company in America. So personal and override, we'll go over that a little bit later. Stock ownership, this is huge. So for those that are familiar with IMOs, people that want to build want to sell their agency one day. And when they sell their agency, they typically get a cash and or stock offer. So from recent trends and based on people that I've consulted with in the industry that have sold their business, the majority of their buyout is stock. So when you get bought out, for an example, they'll buy you out with stock, give you a little bit of cash, and then you'd have to basically gamble and hope the stock goes up in value for you to get your agency equities worth from liquidating your stock or holding on to your stock. With Senior Life Insurance Company, they're in the process of developing stock ownership. That goes for us as well, even though we're not captive to them, to where you can hit certain tiers, certain markers, and attain stock without having to sell your agency, which is huge because that's how it should be across the board. You should get rewarded stock for as a token of appreciation for you placing business with a carrier. There is health insurance for qualifying agents and agencies. There will be a brochure. We won't touch on that too much here. You may find that information on the Agent Resource Center or on your agent portal with Senior Life Insurance Company. The tiers and production requirements and all that is in there, but they do have health insurance for qualifying agents and agencies. Legacy assurance, we're going to touch on that later. Incentives, same old conventions, Millionaires Club, Rolex Club, Burn Clubs, a lot more. These are the states that senior life is available in. Relatively almost every single state except for Washington, Wyoming, South Dakota, I believe that's Iowa, Wisconsin, New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, Connecticut. So everything you see in black or gray that's dark here, they don't do business in. Anything in gold or yellow, they do business in. So majority of the states, senior life insurance company is available in. Product features. So again, no APSs, which is an attending physician statement. It is something that is a common practice with many companies, not the instant issue ones typically, but the ones that have underwriting processes. They usually, the MIB, for example, wouldn't be enough for that carrier, so they'll send a APS form to the doctors. Doctors have to fill it out and send it back. It can delay coverage, it can delay pay, it can delay decision making. There is none of that. There is no MIB, again, which is very, very interesting considering the high approval rates. They just do a simple yes and no health question check and a prescription check, which is, again, I don't know the technology that they use, but it's extremely quick and gets you an answer right away, whether they're approved, they recommend a different product, or they're completely declined. Plans are available from 0 to 85. The standard comp that you would get if you're on 100% would be from ages 40 to 80, which is predominantly the final expense market. You get a little less percentage for ages 0 through 39 and 81 through 85. I'm not expecting you to memorize this now. We're going to touch on this a little bit later. But whole life insurance, $1,000 to $30,000. Term, $10,000 to $50,000. We're not going to really sell too much term with them. We have other carriers with better term products. There are going to be some renegotiations for the better in the future with Senior Life Insurance Company that the CEO founder and I have been orchestrating and trying to deploy, God willing, early 2025, if not mid 2025, to increase coverages, God willing, better the rates, just all around become more competitive. But they're already competitive, just so you guys know. We're trying to enhance it even more to make it an even bigger powerhouse. So the two main products that we will solicit and place is Super Preferred Whole Life and Preferred Whole Life. We stay away from the Ultimate because of two reasons. One, it's very tedious and very picky with who it approves. And two, it is probably less than half your comp, which when I recently checked. So it's not something that is necessarily needed. The bulk of Senior Life Insurance Company's business is Super Preferred Whole Life. I verified this myself. Second to that, I believe, was Preferred, but I know for a fact Super Preferred was a very competitive rate. It pays out 100% of whatever comp you're on, and it has a 97.5 approval rate within our agency across Senior Life collectively. I believe it was like 95.7, somewhere around there. So we're 2 points off. We had a higher success rate in comparison to Senior Life as far as approval goes. 95 or 97 is extremely high in comparison to every carrier that I've ever worked with in my life. Preferred whole or Super Preferred Whole Life goes from 5 to 30,000, ages 0 to 85. Preferred Whole Life is 0 to 85 once again. Coverage start as little as 1,000 all the way up to 20,000. You have other products like Standard Whole Life. This is typically meant for like tobacco users, people with mild health issues. You have Whole Life Limited death benefit plans, which we won't really sell. Modified Whole Life up to 15,000. Guarantee issue up to 10,000. We won't really sell that either. Term plans, we don't really sell those either. Like I said, we are prioritizing what I highlighted in green here: Super Preferred Whole Life and Preferred Whole Life. Here are some sample rates. There will be a rate book that is available. I believe I included that in here, but it's pretty much straightforward. If I did not, you can find it on your agent portal. It is tiered. It'll go by age and then by thousand. So it'll say a 1-year-old, how much $1,000 of coverage would be. A 1-year-old, how much $2,000 coverage will be. again, 1-year-old, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way up to 30,000. So all you're doing is cross-referencing. You don't need to add, subtract, put in numbers. It's a PDF. It literally lists 0 through 30,000, and it lists ages 0 through 85. Pretty transparent, black and white, straightforward. Comp. So, the nitty-gritty, right? Let's get into the compensation. So hopefully you guys can see this. Let me actually zoom in. So this is how it looks like zoomed out. We're going to zoom in. You have super preferred whole life at the top here. VAP. This is what we talked about earlier, the legacy program. If you uncheck the $4 a month legacy program, you will take a major hit on your comp, and you'll also take a major hit on your residuals. You'll essentially get no residuals if you do not include the VAP, which is the $4 a month legacy. VAP is a value added product. That's all it stands for. So when you power up your EAP and the customer, you're trying to reduce the coverage, or you're trying to reduce the premium, never uncheck the $4 a month legacy plan, because you will go from, on this example, if you're on 100 comp for super preferred whole life, you'll only get 70% if you sell them a policy and uncheck the legacy program. And then again, you won't get any residuals. So this is years 2 through 5. 4.25% is what your residual would be from years 2 through 5. So if an agent, for an example in this case, hypothetically wrote $500,000 worth of business, you take that number, multiply, assuming all of it is still on the books, you take that number, multiply it by 0.0425, which is an equivalent of 4.25 in a percentage form. Agent renewals should be roughly almost $2,000 a month off that business. That obviously grows and compounds when you get to an agency level, if that's in your desires. But that's years 2 through 5. Then years 6 through 10 reduces to 2.25. Years 11 and beyond, 0.75 would be your renewal rate. Senior Life Insurance Company on paper states that they are the highest comp, the highest renewals, and the only company to offer both highest comp, highest renewals, and lifetime renewals. You get these renewals for life, assuming that the client doesn't die or cancel. You get paid on the book, a previous book of business, forever and ever, both on a personal level and on an agency level if it's in your desires to build an agency. So super preferred is what we prioritize. It goes up to 30,000. Preferred whole life only goes up to 20,000. Same comp though, value added product. Do not uncheck the $4. Let's touch on 0 to 39 and 81 through 85. So again, predominantly we're covering the entire market. With the 40 to 80 age mark, you get your full comp. 0 to 39, on a 100% comp plan, you only get 70%. Very, very competitive rates though. Anybody under, I believe 65 was extremely competitive. When I ran the rates, as you age, it gets harder and harder to compete with the other carriers. But every single time, from what I saw at least, it beat a miracle, even with the older individuals. But with the younger ones, again, under 65, maybe even under 70, do your due diligence and see. But majority of the time, it beat majority of the carriers. And again, we're going to touch on legacy a little later. So we're selling on value. It's not always about saving money, reducing money. Anybody can go in the house and replace a policy if all we're selling on is numbers. But if we have value to back it up and relentless sales presentation, and again, enough value built up, it's very hard to replace a policy like that. So again, getting back into this, 0 to 39, your comp is 70%. 81 to 85, your comp is 70% if you sell them super preferred. So that's how you read this. That's what these numbers are. They're the ages, the comps, and the residuals. When it says 100% chargeback period is in the first 4 months. So if you get a client that cancels month 5, it's prorated based on the amount of premiums that the company collected versus what they advanced you. First 4 months is 100% chargebackable. So if I sell somebody and they cancel month 3, it's a full chargeback. Speaking of chargebacks, you guys can change this if you have already elected 9-month, which is the standard when you onboard with Senior Life. They have a very interesting advanced program, both for leaders and for producers. The most common ones are 75%, which is your standard 9-month advance, and then you have a 60% advance. Again, this is not your comp. This is just the advance of your compensation plan. So if you get if you're on 100%, you get 9-month advance. That's what 75% translates to if we're taking from months to a decimal. And then you could do a 60%. And you're wondering, why would I do 60%? Well, on the 60% advance, again, not comp, you still get the same amount of money. The bucket releases. On months 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, you get a monthly deposit to equate your 100% full advance. Why would you do 60%? On the 60% advance, you will have no upfront chargeback whatsoever. It goes to your back end. Never been done. I've never heard of it. I've consulted with countless companies. I've worked with countless companies. Both, I was captive in the past, became independent. I've never heard of a company to do this. It's actually extremely beneficial for agents that cannot tackle on debt, that cannot perform at a very high level and wipe out a bad week in the insurance business. So I highly suggest, if you cannot handle chargebacks, if you don't write at a very high level, you can choose 60% advance. Even if you've already got your agent number, we usually do 75% because it's a standard. Everybody's already used to it. Send an email to hr@ffl-ol.com, which was referenced earlier in the video, and CC me, Emre Shuni, at ffl-ol.com, and say you would like to be put on the 60%, which then again would automatically put you on the no immediate chargeback system. And again, that is for leaders and agents as well. So here we have a 70% comp plan, very similar to the first one we saw. We see that somewhat very uniform as far as the comp differences. You start at 70 up here. If you don't add the value add product, you get a 30% comp hit. If you sell anybody from 0 to 39, 81 through 85, it's also 30% less. Residual wise, you see that it's 50%, or I'm sorry, 0.5% less in residuals. But the reason why I put this on here is so you see if you're on 100% comp, and again, it's going to vary. You can go up to 150, work your way up within the promotional guidelines that MRFG has for you. But if you're on 100% comp and you have an agent at 70%, I wanted to explain how both the override and the residual works. So the override and the residuals, how they work. So you obviously have a 30% spread because you're on 100% up here, and your direct agent is at 70%. You will get the difference in comp as far as override, and you will get the difference in residuals. So in this case, you have 4.25 and 3.75 for your direct agent who's at 70. So you take 4.25 minus 3.75. You're left with 0.5, like I said earlier. So what that means is if this agent, hypothetically, or agency below you at this comp writes $1 million of business, you get the difference between their residuals, your residuals, and their residuals. Okay, so that would be 0.005. Which translates to $5,000 worth of residuals. Again, this is not for your business, but your indirect business. If it was all on your personal pen, then in this example, it would be the 4.25% for years 2 through 5. So you get residuals both on your personal pen, the business that you write, as well as the business that your team writes. This number also increases as your comp increases. It's not standard across the board. Obviously, you guys can see from 100 to 70 what it is. It goes higher and higher as you get promoted with the agency guideline or the agency promotional guidelines that we have in place. So, touching on the in-home presentation, you're selling just how you sell any other policy. The difference is Senior Life Insurance Company is one of the only companies that I know of that has the legacy program, which is that $4 thing that we keep talking about that is automatically included in the e-app. What it does for the member is it locks in funeral prices for life. And just to give you guys an example, if you look right here, you get high quality merchandise, 18 gauge steel caskets. Funeral home price would be $6,000. Everlasting legacy price would be $2,000. They'd say $4,000. That's for member A. They have a couple examples that you could look through. So they have a team called the Wish Concierge Team. What this team does for the client with the legacy program is they literally negotiate the price of the funeral, the burial, the casket, and all of that good stuff so the family can grieve in peace. Because unfortunately, funeral homes are still in business to make money off people, and the majority of them are probably numb to people passing away. They don't really, I don't want to say all of them, but I'd say most of them I feel like are numb to death, and they don't have the sympathy to give clients the best deal ever. They're still a business at the end of the day, so they'll take advantage of every penny that you have on your insurance policy when you mention it, so you let your members know this is the only company, Senior Life Insurance Company, that has a legacy program that we know of attached to their life insurance policy that will negotiate the price of the funeral home, burial, everything that's involved in the funeral process. So in this example, funeral home price is $12,000. The price after the legacy negotiation through the Wish Team Concierge is $4,995. They end up saving $7,005, and your client didn't have to lift up a phone, go to the funeral home, or deal with any of that headache. That's just one perk and benefit that they have. Legacy members also gain access to several living benefits. So Legacy's partnered with Walmart Health Virtual Care, WHVC, to make it easy for your member to receive medical care from the comfort of their own home. You heard that right. So with WHVC, the client can connect with a medical provider 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, online, by phone, or by application. They don't even have to leave their home. Okay, let's see here. So there's somewhat of a will planner, essentially. It's called the Legacy Vault, I'm guessing. It allows you to archive the client's final wishes through the website, everlastinglegacy.com. There's discounts, 15% on all diabetic products through PDORS, which is, I'm assuming, some kind of vendor that they're affiliated with. Annual hearing exams available at no cost, so your client gets an hearing exam once a year at no cost just by having the legacy program in place. And in the event that they do have a hearing deficiency, there's a discounted rate on hearing aids and a discounted prescription drug card that helps them save on prescription medications, so on and so forth. So again, don't just skim through this. You want to go over this. It's a selling point. It's something that has statistically at Senior Life helped with retention. You can easily replace if you're selling on just what something costs, but when something is more valuable and more impactful, it's a lot harder to replace. It's a lot harder to get rid of and convince somebody to cancel. So again, a part of your retention practices after you close somebody, you should be sitting down with the client a little longer, letting them know that if anybody ever calls you to not deal with them, only deal with you. You can hammer that in their head as many times as you possibly can and say, even in the event that I pass away, make sure that you keep this in place, because again, I'm a broker. I have access to every single company in the U.S. if I want to contract with them, and this is the only time I've seen a company have such an amazing program in place to give you the biggest value and most impactful product out there that is tackled onto your life insurance. So anybody can get life insurance anywhere. You're not always going to get perks and additional benefits, but here you can see how valuable this is, and this all comes as part of your policy with Senior Life Insurance Company. Now, The legacy program and senior life insurance company, they're two different entities, but they worked hand in hand and combined the best of both worlds, the best life insurance policy as well as the best legacy program, and made this powerhouse to ensure that your family's protected and you guys have the peace of mind. So basically that's it, folks. If you guys have any questions, reach out to your upline. If it's anything regarding contracting, any of the issues that we mentioned earlier, refer to this guide. And there will be agency resource center. Oh, almost forgot. So we did touch on that earlier. We're going to have a temporary agent resource center. It's basically going to be like a Google Sheets with frequently asked questions, some of the stuff that we discussed here, just to help you resolve some of the common issues that agents are dealing with when they first transition. You shouldn't have any issues moving forward. It's just when you first get your agent number, there's a couple loose ends that we got to tie. And then the FEX.life is going to be our platform that we are going to utilize once it is completed. What FEX Life is basically a powerhouse CRM with AI intelligence, as well as a power dialer, policy management, happy birthday wisher, quoter. There's going to be an AI FexiBot, is what they call it, and what that is basically is like an in-home underwriting support guide, so you don't have to rely on like a human to get back to you. AI already has the information memorized, scraped, sorted, all that good stuff. It'll give you an instant answer based on the prompts, based on the question you ask it. There's just a ton of stuff. It's going to be a major benefit to Major Revolution Financial Group. I'm planning on getting everybody the fully fledged plan. I believe it's a couple $100s a month. I cover that expense as a token of appreciation for having everybody with Major Revolution Financial Group. And again, as another way to stand out from all of the competitors, we take care of our people, we take care of our agents. We want to make sure that you're successful, and we want to hyperscale that growth as fast as we possibly can to get you to where you want to be. FEX Life will also be, God willing, a part of our onboarding process when we onboard agents. So for now, this is just stuff that is in the process. That's why we have a temporary agent resource center. But in the future, the course, the onboarding, everything we need will be all in FEX Life, all in one screen, so you don't have to keep bouncing around. With that said, I appreciate you all for taking your time to watch this video. I wish you all a blessed and prosperous career with us. I'm excited for the future more than ever. God bless you all. Take care.